Friday got here. I don't know how Friday got here. I missed everybody last week. I'm Jill.
I'm Deb, and I have a cold. I am
You
not
sure do.
COVID. I don't have COVID. I
You
just
sure?
have a cold. Yeah,
All
positive.
right.
I'm positively negative.
Positively negative. And welcome to the Friday Grief Chat, everyone. We are glad you're here. We're
And
glad we're here. We're glad it's Friday,
I'm glad it's Friday.
right?
It's been an interesting work week and news week and
All of it.
all of it. And
I
I
got it.
keep hearing the same things over and over. And actually, a bunch of people have been having, and are we surprised? Apocalyptic dreams, dreams of war. You've probably heard that from some of your clients too, right?
I'm hearing that. Plus, we're next to what used to be a strategic air command base, and lots of people remember those days. Plus, the loss of Chandler Bing.
Oh, I was
That's
just
been hitting
watching.
other people too.
It is, and then also the guy from the original Night Court died
Yes,
right around the,
most. Mhm.
yeah,
I know
and
they have names. I'm sorry, folks. I'm
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry. I can't remember. Sorry. Let me turn off my phone. Yeah, that was my Halloween sound from my phone. It's off now. But
So
yeah, it's been hitting a lot of people when we lose them, when we lose people who have been part of our lives on a screen, and then part of our lives in terms of struggles that they share
yeah,
with other people or with our family members, our loved ones, our clients. It really does kind of connect. Not kind of, it connects in a really big way.
and many years ago when I had some surgery, I went up and looked what TV shows relieve anxiety. And while admittedly these two shows are comprised of only white people, let me
Mm-hmm.
just say that, the two shows was Friends, and this was like 2016, 17, 18. That's when
Oh
I
yeah.
had the surgery. So Friends and um oh the one set in New York also with
The Office or
no right about the same time. Very different. Jerry Seinfeld.
oh yeah.
Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so those two reduced anxiety. And over the last, and all through COVID, I don't know how many times lunchtime, at least two episodes.
Oh yeah.
And, you look back then, you look back as you watch the reruns now, there's like a depth more to, oh, Richard Mall Night Court. Thanks, Steve. Um, there's a depth to watching when certain characters have died,
Yeah.
and there's a depth to your soul. You go, oh my gosh, I only looked at him one way. I didn't see. And hopefully, my hope is we look at other people that way when
Mm-hmm.
you only see these outside things, and now you're taking in.
All the connections,
Yeah.
all the things, and especially um, for Matthew, the struggle he had with substances and addictions, and how hard he had to fight to get to sobriety, and then to want to make the rest of his life about helping others win that battle and get to
Mhm.
recovery and stay in recovery. That's the other piece of it is there's so much, especially and I'm not dissing the loss of Richard Mall, but there's so much about, well, maybe he had relapsed, maybe that was, and I
Right.
just wanted to, you know what, let's just let his family honor their loss, like anybody else who has a loss that might fall into the stigmatized category, and not make it stigmatized for anyone, but especially not for someone that you actually don't know what happened. Stop that.
Exactly.
Just
And we
stop it.
do that so often on
Right.
not just with public figures, with our family, with
Family and
this.
friends. Yes.
How do you stop that inner jump to making up stuff you don't know yet?
To looking for ugly when you don't need to. And
Right.
there's no reason to do that. I mean, we have a war going on in two different parts of the world. We actually three. We don't need to add to it, and we don't need to add to anyone's grief, and we don't need to add to any grief of those close to us. And this time of year, we're rolling into, we just had Halloween, which also is in some parts of the world, Dios de los Muertes. It's also All
All
Souls
Souls Day.
Day. Right. Lots of people are going to be going to churches this weekend, and there'll be All Souls Day roll calls being done. There's a
Okay.
lot that goes on with that. So we're trying to remember those who have died this year, but we don't need to stigmatize how they died.
That's right. We don't have to put a label on it with gossip. We
No.
don't have to. And it never ceases to amaze me how intrusive people are. And
Yeah.
with asking questions.
Way too many questions, way too many inappropriate questions. There's nothing wrong with talking about what caused someone's death if it's not to be judgmental. If someone wants to share that they lost a loved one to this kind of cancer or that kind of dementia, or someone texting and driving in an effort to bring awareness, to raise
Right.
funds, to change
That's
that
right.
up in some way, great. If someone dies of suicide and someone wants to bring it up, and I think it's awesome when they do, in a way of saying we need to really not tell the families who lost someone to suicide that somehow they contributed to this,
Oh,
or to stigmatize the person who did die of suicide. If they want to bring awareness to it though, and go to the walks and talk about it so that people can be more aware that there's help, and I'm here for you, great. But let's not do it in a way that's mean or unkind or petty.
and another thing I was just remember when we had Alan Klein
Oh, yeah.
on, and I'm doing I have another memorial tomorrow that I'm officiating. I know I'm like up to 4 in 3 weeks, and I have one more after this. The reason why I'm saying this is Alan wrote a book called, oh, I have it right here, Courage to Laugh.
Mhm.
And the reason why I'm talking about this, he wrote a lot about people who were AIDS patients and were dying of AIDS. And in there, the people that are dying get to tell the joke.
Yep.
And you don't have to think it's funny, but they're usually saying it to laugh for themselves because they've had to make some choices. I know whenever someone is, I'm going to give you an example. Um, a friend of mine was talking about a wedding, and they said they bought a dress with glitter in it, and even if they can't attend the wedding because they might be dead, they said, well, at least I'll have glitter spread in my ash. You know what I mean? It was
Right.
that, and I laughed with them to support them. People that make these kinds of jokes. They want to help change their own mindset. And I'm sure
Matthew.
Matthew Perry had his own set of jokes,
Hmm.
right? And for the things that he was going through with his struggles. And it's up to us to respect those jokes, right?
To allow him to have that healthy coping, and to
Yes.
continue that message of healthy coping.
Yeah.
Right? That is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And we should remember them for that. So if their families are doing some kind of honoring of their loss, in addition to the planning the funerals, which we all know is a hard time. You can have some levity, you can have some laughter, but you're still planning a funeral. And all of our viewers know that that is a sometimes gut-wrenching time.
I have a whole routine based on my own experience of going casket shopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was an experience I never had. And so I'm going to create the weirdo memories. And boy, did I piss the director off. And you know what? I don't care. It's my memories.
It helped you.
It helped me, helped
Mm-hmm.
my brother. That's
Mm-hmm.
what's important. And that leads me to, you know, you might not know everything going on in someone's life. And so when they make jokes about death, or they make jokes about that doesn't fit your sense of humor, and usually I'm going to say it this way, it's almost puritanical,
Mm-hmm.
other people's sense of humor, and that's not proper, that's not Christian like.
There
Who
are
are
rules
you?
people have. They're the grief rules. You don't get to XYZ. No, no, your grief, your way, your rules.
That's
Remember that.
right. That's right.
And as you're coming up on All Souls Day and Thanksgiving and Hanukkah and Eid and
Diwali,
Christmas and Diwali and Kwanzaa,
Kwanzaa,
right?
and I don't know
I'm
when
missing another
Ramadan
one.
is. So
That's another time of year.
okay,
I believe so. Yeah, with all of that, you get to decide how you're going to remember those people who are not here.
that's right.
You get to decide what you're going to do with them, right? How are
Mm-hmm.
you going to honor them? Where is their place? There is
Mm-hmm.
the woman who has the Facebook group, Life is a Mortician's Wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has the a place at the table Facebook group for those who have had a loss and it's coming up on holidays. And what do I do? What do I do with their place at the table?
Right.
And it's got a lot of humor in it, and it's got a lot of, her own memories and how she's coping or has coped with other losses, including her dad, as holidays approach. That's something that I work with my clients with at this time of year, and I encourage all therapists to do, because we have to be able to not have people get caught off guard.
You know, I'm actually, this is a good time to say it, at our local college, community college at
Mhm.
Parkland. Um, I'm teaching a class, a 90-minute class. It's very inexpensive. And it is all about a wonderful time of the year, really, how to cope through the holidays and self care. And coping is really not about trying to control who comes into your life, who's not. It's all about your own self preservation.
Mhm.
And people who just got married, how do you deal with the family? Maybe you don't realize things for a couple years. I I read like all the different kinds of Dear Abbeys and stuff like that. Oh my God, people are so mean to each other in the families. And look at, we've had that in our own family, right?
Mhm.
And, you know, people, and yes, I get pretty judgmental. I don't know everything. I get judgmental as like, why are they doing that? Well, who knows what other stress people are in the family. So self-care would be, how can you honor your loved one without creating a big fuss, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I always encourage is buy some white flowers or their favorite color flowers and sit it up there with their picture. Maybe you're going over to somebody's house and you'd say, do you mind putting this up? Maybe you could call them ahead of time because they're like a control freak and any little thing will upset them, and maybe they need drugs. I don't know. But I'm
Some way to bring the people in that are
yes,
missing in a way that's comfortable for those around, but also to not silence those who are grieving.
that's
Because if
right.
you are grieving right now, folks, and you're thinking, I can't bring up so and so, even though it's All Souls Day, once I leave the memorial, that part of the service, I can't go tell people I've done that because it'll cause someone else distress. You're allowed to talk about people who are missing.
That's right.
You're allowed to talk about the feelings. You're allowed to talk about them. You're allowed to talk about what you miss about them, what
That's
you
right.
don't miss about them, right? All of
Exactly.
that stuff. You can do all those things. It's okay.
Do you know you can set a place for them?
Hmm.
You could wear their favorite shirt.
Hmm.
If you're uncomfortable talking about it, at
Right.
least wear their favorite shirt. Wear
Yeah.
their socks. I don't care if you wear their underwear. I don't care.
I don't want to know, but yeah, I don't want to know about your underwear anyway. So
I would
yeah.
want to know so I can make fun.
But
People love
it's that kind of thing. And not to mix in something completely unrelated, but it is related, is the mourning that's going on around the world for what's happening in the Middle East. And I don't want to get us all divided about which side is which, because there's been so much loss on both
it. Right.
sides.
That's
And the rhetoric toward annihilating the existence of one group is or another is just absolutely abominable. We stop it. It's
I know.
not about from a line. It's we need to support those who are hurting.
Whoever's hurting.
Support
That's
the
right.
people who are experiencing losses. And in a war, everyone has a loss.
That's right.
And those who are fearing that somebody's trying to annihilate them, that's huge. That's way bigger than a loss,
Right.
right?
You
And
know, just recently in our town, and I'm sure yours gets it too, but it's more unusual here that people, there was a giant swastika bless you, there was a giant swastika painted, spray painted. And then in a park, and then in a cemetery, there was more
yeah, the
vandalism.
anti-Semitism is just horrific right now.
And, you know, at, I appreciate when people say, I can't imagine how you're feeling.
Hmm.
You know, same thing with you, Jill, because you have a lot of Jewish heritage attached with you.
I have my
And
sister. Yeah, my sister's family is Jewish, and I
that's
have a
right.
large number of friends who were connected
Hmm.
to all of to Gaza. So it's a, and my nephew is very aligned with the land rights of those who used to be able to live where the settlers are now. It's very convoluted in our
It's
group,
very,
but it's still a scary time. And to hear folks saying they want to annihilate one country is not.
no,
There's no good way. You can't
there's,
stop it.
there's, yeah. But to check in on your friends that are
That's it.
Palestinian, check in on your friends that
Who
are
are Jewish?
Jewish or connected to Israel. Check
Hmm.
in. And, you know,
Let them talk about their losses. Let them
Let
talk
them
about
talk about it.
what the emotions are like. Let them talk about what it's like to feel a loss of safety on your college campus, a loss of safety in your neighborhood. That kind of that. Let's support people and being able to verbalize that, and let's support them and help them find some ways to cope.
Yes. Yes. And it's interesting that people will say, "Oh, I feel so bad for them," and then turn around and want to want to judge and uh, eliminate another sect of Christianity. It's really bizarre to me. Oh, we feel so bad for them. And then they'll turn around and say nasty things about someone else. I don't get this, Jill.
Let's
And
just take the high road. Yeah.
yeah, or just be quiet.
Right. Yeah.
Just be
And be
quiet.
supportive.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes supportive is just nod your head.
Yep. Yep. Let them speak, because one of the greatest gifts we can give to anyone who's struggling is to hold space for them,
That's right.
to companion them, to sit with them, to send a friendly text message a couple times a day and not expect a response. Stop the expect the response
Yeah,
thing. That doesn't mean someone's ignoring you,
that's right.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just be there in a way that will allow them to know that you are there if they need to reach out, right?
So, one of the things that we had started talking about, what are some other ways of self care? I mean, we talk about that a lot on online here. And, we talk about simple things, right? Like just even putting your hands like this and making a heart and putting it next to your chest. We put things in like, you know, doing the box breathing we learned from another person. We have self care is just drinking some water and making sure you're taking your vitamins. Or, as I tell people, this is the only thing I right when her husband died very suddenly with no warning. Drink water, have toast. I don't care if you eat anything else the rest of the day. Have toast in the morning. Just start off the morning with whatever, and have that chocolate if it's not going to impact you. If you have diabetes, don't have that kind of chocolate. Have what you can have. And the it's sort of like you have to go back to the
The
body,
basics.
then the mind, then the
Mhm.
spirit. Don't making sense out of it, or and if you have to be mad at God, that's okay. People say you shouldn't be mad at God.
People
I
say all
say
kinds of things,
be mad at God.
right?
Who doesn't fight in a relationship? You know what I mean?
So let's talk about the self-care, body, mind, and spirit. So body, we want to get enough rest, if not sleep,
And if
because
you're
right
one,
now there are a lot of people struggling with sleep
that's right.
for all kinds of reasons, whether it's on the other side of the world or it's just that time of year, or we're about to change clocks again this week, right?
Okay, maybe I have a strong opinion about that, but hello.
Yeah, because that whole, and I do like having more sun in the morning. I just dislike my day ending in darkness at 4 p.m. And I
Yes,
know everyone else does. And I know we can't change it all because indeed the days are shorter. That we're further away from the sun. It has to happen, folks, one way or the
right,
other.
right.
But it's still a disruption, right? So, how do we also then regulate our sleep a little better? Make sure you're getting some sunshine and you're stretching and you're still putting yourself to bed on time. So, that even if you're just laying down, you are resting the cells in your body and giving them a chance to catch up with your emotions about having to go to bed earlier or whatever, right?
Right, right.
So, body, we want to make sure we're eating something other than leftover Halloween candy we have filched from the children, right?
Or you bought an extra bag for yourself.
Well, it was on sale. We should take advantage of the sale,
Absolutely.
right? And look, all the Halloween cupcakes are on sale now. We should probably take care of those too. So, limit the sugar to some extent and throw
Right.
some green things in, okay? And for mind, we want to do some quieting. We want to do some thinking more positive thoughts. We want to read Alan Klein's books, right? To talk about this is where we bring the levity and the being able to deal with what's going on in a way that doesn't take us apart, because we
Mhm.
don't need that, because that increases our stress level and that increases our cortisol level, and then that makes us not sleep, and then blah 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 blah. Here comes the anxiety, depression.
And I want to add, because reading a lot of different people's posts and things, people feel guilt during the holidays because maybe they shouldn't be happy. Maybe there's so much sadness they don't feel right being happy. I want everybody to know that is a normal feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You are not alone with that. And you know,
You're still
guilt
allowed
is
to be
tricky.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah, guilt is tricky because, people feel shame for
Mm-hmm.
feeling
That's the
happy.
intention of guilt and shame. They go together. We want you to have this response and you're having that response. And so don't make yourself twist.
That's right.
You have happy memories of someone who's not here. You
That's right.
have connections that still make you happy, even if people are in a war zone. You still have those people or the memories of being there.
Mhm.
Those things matter still. Hold on to them, right?
And likewise, if you choose not to participate because it's too hard for you right now, I'd say take that chance and you don't have to.
Change it up.
Change it's okay. Um, One of the things that I just did not want to face Daryl's family after my mom had died, and it was the first Thanksgiving. I said, I'll be there after I do volunteer work
Hmm.
because I want to volunteer in honor of my mom. So, yeah, had a
Yeah,
very comforting. Steve said he has a very comforting grief talk yesterday with the holidays upon us now. That's great,
yeah.
Steve.
We should be talking about it and we should be able to bring the grief in, but we should also be able to enjoy. And I know he does enjoy the holidays because he decorated for Halloween.
He did. He said this was his first year to
Yes,
do
he
it. Yeah,
decorated. We were
you
busy moving
know,
a house. He was decorating. I think he
that's
got the
right.
better end of a deal.
Oh God, yes. Send pictures, Steve.
Yes, post them on our page,
Post them.
please.
Yeah, we would love that. You
And
know,
folks, if you are getting ready for holidays and you've had a loss, figure it out now. Give yourself some options. That's one of the self-care things. I
hmm
usually say, okay, we can have 3 plans. And then the day of or the day before, depending on how many people are involved,
that's
you
right.
decide which plan you want to participate in.
That's right. That would be that's perfect. At holiday time, there is the stress of just even keeping up with yourself and what you've always done. So that
Mhm.
puts a stress on us. Then when something has changed for you, you're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You get to do whatever There is nothing wrong with any choice. There are some people that will tell you, well, that's just wrong. You know what? That wasn't your mom. That wasn't your dad. That wasn't your spouse. That wasn't your best friend. That wasn't, you do what you
Your
need to
pet, your
do.
child, you do
That's
it how
right.
you choose to do it. Hmm.
And I don't
Yeah.
care if it's the second year or the third year. If you're not ready, don't worry about it.
Seconds can actually be even harder than firsts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Steve
Yeah.
says Jill had a very comforting move yesterday. It was good in that we have moved a house onto our property for our daughter.
Yes.
It was a lot of stress doing it.
It was stressful. You made light of, you called it R2D2. And I'm like, what is the R2D2? Oh, the remote control
It was a
tractor
remote control
thing.
tractor with treads like you find on a military vehicle,
Very
and it,
tank. Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was like a little red tank that was
Yes.
remote control, folks. If you've never seen one, you should YouTube these things. And
It's
it
very
can
cool.
lift up it can lift an entire house up 4 feet.
I
So
know.
it's now all tied down in our side yard. And now we got more work to do this weekend. But Carrie will be moving into her house soon. And that will be because that way we get to make sure she's safe and secure.
That's right.
And then she can cook Thanksgiving, which actually this year I think is going to be pizza on the grill. And then Baskin Robbins turkey ice cream cake. Did you know they make
Pictures,
turkey
please.
ice cream cakes
I
in
did
the
not
shape
know
of a
that.
turkey? Yeah, yeah. It looks like I can't eat most of it because it has gluten, but it looks like an actual turkey, like a 10-pound turkey.
That is amazing.
No one
And
says you have to do all the things like you used to, just because you used to. You can change it up.
look what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm not even going to be here. This will be my
Yeah.
very first Thanksgiving away from any. I mean, even Daryl's already looking ahead who's going to be around. And, they could go out to some diner and have turkey that way. And nobody has to do dishes. I,
Yep.
he'll probably, I mean, he may make stuff for his family. His, we don't get invited to anything outside of whatever we do, and that's just how it is. And so Daryl, yeah, he's gonna have a pleasant time with some people that'll be around for the holiday, and I will be whatever my friend and I have. Will be with the Thanksgiving Day parade. Yay!
I
And
think you should order a Baskin Robbins ice cream cake and eat turkey ice cream while the parade's going down the street.
well, we'll be in a restaurant while
Oh.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, folks, make sure you post on our page to remind Deb that we all get pictures.
You'll be getting pictures, maybe even in real time.
You can
I'm
do a
like,
Facebook Live.
I may have to do that and show things and be checking in. And I'm wondering, we'll see. I might have to run downstairs during this, right?
I don't think you can get through a crowd at that point. I think they'll swallow you up. You're not a big person.
Oh, but if I wore a red nose, people would see me.
And antlers. You should probably do that too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Or a clown wig.
Clown wig, all of it.
I could do
All right,
that.
folks, we need ideas on our page. How do we dress
Yeah,
Deb
how
up for
should
the
Deb?
Macy's Day Parade?
Yes, that's right. How
Because
shall
humor,
we?
grace, and grief does include humor.
It does. It
All right.
does.
All right. So next week, we're back. Yes.
We are.
And we will be planning for holidays and talking about that and talking about the events of the world.
And
Right.
I will tag our page with the class that I'm teaching around here. Sorry, folks, it's not on.
Please, yes.
But those that are within, it's $19 for 90 minutes.
Nice.
So,
That's incredible. I think
Yeah.
maybe we should do another segment on loss of relationships. I'm hearing a lot of that from our viewers. What
Yes.
happens when you lose relationships? And there's been a very big loss of relationship in
And
the therapeutic community this last week
mhm.
because of somebody's behavior. So maybe we should speak into that next week and be ready for that.
I think that sounds wonderful.
All right. And then we'll move into here comes the turkey ice cream and Deb going to
I
Macy's.
need a picture of this thing. One
I
time I
will
tried
post
to
it.
make Rice Krispie treats in the shape of a turkey and stuffed with M&Ms.
Ooh,
Yeah, it didn't work out so good. It was
sounds like a cool idea.
it's a cool idea. It looked more spatchcocked. Let's put it that way.
We won't
That's a
do that
word.
then. We'll do the ice cream cake. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We'll see you back here next week. We will talk about relationship losses.
Yeah.
Bye,
Thanks
everybody. Take good
everyone.
care.
Bye-bye.